Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at Black Bolt and White Flare. We've given it a couple days. The set is now out. We've had a weekend for people to get a bit silly, spending too much money on cards, and it's time to see what the most valuable, most expensive cards in the set actually are. My usual warning here remains very important. It's early. Prices have not stabilised. It is still far too early to actually go about trying to get these cards as singles, but we now do have enough data we can actually look at what the most valuable cards in the set are, which we didn't have a few days ago, so maybe we sit and have a look at that now. That sounds like a good old plan to me. So starting off with a card that didn't quite make the list, but isn't a million miles away, we've got the Illustration Rare Seismitoad coming in at about $70. Now this is something I told you was very likely to happen from Black Bolt and White Flare, because it's Shinji Kanda artwork. And there's nothing that special about Seismitoad. We all know that there was a point in time where Seismitoad had the EX that was just completely ruling the game. That was many years ago, and it's not going to affect the price of an Illustration Rare several years later. That makes no sense. No, ladies and gentlemen, it is Shinji Kanda artwork. It is as simple as that. People adore the artwork of this artist, and this is what's pushing the price up. And I would expect this to happen again in the future with more Shinji Kanda special cards. It's just a thing at this point. It's going to keep happening. Cool. Because, you know, also at like $70, we've got the special illustration rare of Jellicent. That's about the only other card which is at this level that isn't on the top 10 list. There's no other illustration rare which is even above 50. Like Haxorus and Chandelure both end up at around like $50. But that is $20 below what we see from Seismitoad. And Seismitoad is actually ahead of a bunch of the cards that are coming around in special illustration rare form. It's frankly bizarre, and I'm not sure I completely agree with it. I think it's way too high. But look, at this stage, it's pretty simple. These cards are going to get pushed up. You can argue against it. You can say it shouldn't be happening. It doesn't really matter, truth be told. It's going to keep happening. So, yeah, the Shinji Kanda Seismitoad, very relevant down there. So what actually does make our top 10 list? Well, in at number 10, we've got Genesect DX at about $80. Again, all these prices are a bit too high. And Genesect, I mean, look, we've got a very popular Pokemon. We've got a Pokemon that everybody loves. And we've got a phenomenal ability that says once during your turn, you can search for 2 Evolution Medal Pokemon. This isn't even like a when you play it ability or discard a card from your hand. It is literally just once during your turn, search for 2 Evolution Metal Pokemon. Great ability. We love this. $80 in at number 10. Also at around $80, but just a tad bit higher, we got Hilda, which is coming in at about $80. By the way, I'm leaving the booster pack on the screen here so you can see which of these are Black Bolt and which are White Flare. And what's interesting is that if we looked at Hilda over in Japan, as I showed you the other day, Hilda was a much higher card. It was like the number 5 card in the set because they didn't have the red Victini. Hilda was huge. Yeah, Hilda's quite a bit lower over here. There are 3 cards in this set which are frankly higher than Hilda, which I was not expecting, and at least you shouldn't have been expecting looking at Japan. You search a deck for an evolution Pokemon and an energy. Great card. Multiple Pokemon. Protagonist. I think this card is, value-wise, are all too high. But I think placing-wise, Hilda's too low, man. In at number 8, we got the special illustration rare of Kyurem. It's coming in at about $90, and this is one of the ones that's been pushed up for the English release. And this card it's fine, like it's Kyurem. Big, impressive Pokemon, lovely. The artwork is fine, but like Kyurem is the bad one of this trio. Free energy, 130 plus 10 to each your opponent's bench freeze prize card they've taken. I've made this point before, but basically, you want the big bench damage in the early game to stop them setting up, and you get it in the late game when your opponent's already set up. So, it kind of doesn't seem to work. In at number 7, we got N's Plan at $120, and this is interesting to me because this is 50% higher than Hilda. And don't get me wrong, I adore Ren's artwork here. I think it's wonderful, and it's N in front of the Ferris wheel. We've all got memories of N and the Ferris wheel and all of that, at least if you've played Gen 5, which you should have done. But I don't think N is nearly as good a card as Hilda. And Hilda's got all the Pokemon on, and I think is the better artwork. And I do kind of get the feeling here that we're in this situation where this is a little bit too high. What can we do about it? Well, nothing immediately, but hopefully it will change over the next few days. But the fact that N is not just higher than Hilda, but significantly higher than Hilda, I think is relevant. In at number 6, we got Hydreigon at about $150, and I'm calling this an artwork thing. Like, this was high in Japan, but not this high. But we got Takumi Wada, who we know is a top-tier artist. And I honestly think here that this is just exceptionally cool artwork. I think this has captured people's imaginations, and I think that is what is making the big difference here with Hydreigon. So, yeah, get used to this Hydreigon. People are absolutely loving it. Plus, it's got an ability that says if you KO a basic Pokemon, you take an extra prize. So you know there's some potential for this Hydreigon down the line. In at number 5, we've got the special illustration rare of Reshiram. This is coming in at $225, so you'll notice a pretty sizable jump. And although 6 to 10 are a bit jumbled around from what we may have been expecting, you know, having seen what happened in Japan, the top 5, now the order doesn't make a huge amount of sense in some ways, but it is the top 5 we were expecting. Reshiram at $225, yeah, okay. It's a special illustration rare Reshiram. It's a very good card that does 130 plus 50 for each prize card your opponent's taken. It's the box legendary and the artwork is absolutely stunning. Add all that up, it makes sense. And then in at number 4, obviously we got the Zekrom special illustration rare, which right now is at like 300. Again, we go back to what we said at the start of the video. It is early, things will change, things will correct themselves, things will come more towards the mean. But right now, there is a noticeable difference between Reshiram and Zekrom. It is worth noting that Zekrom is the more playable of the two. It's got the better support so far, so maybe that's part of the explanation. We then see another pretty big jump up to the black and white rare Victini, which is $450 in at number 3. Now remember, Victini is in both Black Bolt and White Flare. It is in the pair of them. And we are seeing a little bit of variance at the moment in terms of the two Victini. They're not actually the same price. Right now, for what it's worth, Black Bolt Victini is actually coming in a little bit higher. It's irrelevant, frankly. It doesn't really matter. If one of the sets was massively better than the other, then the weaker set would have the cheaper Victini. I'm not sure that's actually really a thing now, if I'm honest with you, so nah. People are asking, why is there variance? Why is there variance? Well, it's early and there haven't been many sales. It's like in the same way you could have a look and you would find that there would be states in the US where random EXs just happen to be more expensive. It's just random variance because there haven't been that many sales. I wouldn't worry about that too much. I'm taking a rough average of about $450 here, but especially with these, I mean all of them as a whole, but especially with this higher end card, please bear in mind that we are doing the best we can, but working with imperfect data. There we go. Let's go for that. Then in at number 2, very close, we've got the Zekrom at $460, and this is the point in the video where you should be saying to me, well, hang on a second, Wassy. In what world was Zekrom higher for the special illustration rare, but lower for the black and white rare? And I would answer you, yes. I don't get it either. Makes no real sense. For what it's worth, in at number 1, we got the black and white rare of Reshiram at 475. So all 3 of these black and white rares are actually very close together. They are the big 3 by a mile. And when Pokemon showed us that Victini was in both sets, I told you that I thought that meant Red Victini was in both sets. And I'm delighted that that is the case, because it's really evened things up between the 2 sets. It makes me very happy. It also means that every set has 2 potential black and white rares to pull, and that's frankly lovely. So that is your top 10 list, but as I keep telling you guys, things will change over the next few days. So what I've told you is correct. For now, things will change. We'll check back in a couple of weeks. For now, I want to know what you think about all of this, though. I want to know what you pull. I want to know what your favourite cards in the set are. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section. Get us! Be nice! And please do remember that with the new YouTube algorithm, likes and comments mean a lot more than they did before. So please do leave a like and a comment. It would make a big difference. And we need to give a shout out as we finish here to one of our lovely Patreons over at patreon.com/PTCG Radio. So shout out to Evan Parker, who's been following us for a while now, supporting for a while, for being just a frankly lovely person. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.